Hello and welcome to the Monday, January 5th Village Council meeting. Judy, if you could call the roll.
Indeed. DeVore Leonard.
Here.
Brown. Here. Shu. Here. Samir.
Here.
Pierce. Here. Also present, Village Manager Johnny Burns, Village Solicitor Amy Blankenship, and Project Lead Assistant Village Manager Elise Giardulo.
Okay. So the next thing on here is executive session, which I think somebody was going to explain what the option is.
I'll be happy to do that, somebody.
Okay.
Hi, good evening. Welcome. Happy New Year. So in preparation for this meeting, we'd had an opportunity to discuss how the process will work. This is the organizational meeting of council, happens once every 2 years, when a new president and vice president is appointed. In Yellow Springs, this is done differently in all communities in Ohio per charter. Yellow Springs appoints president and vice president from a vote of the 5 of you. It's not separately elected. It's simply a vote of 3 of you would elect a new president and a new vice president. So the reason executive session is on the agenda, and I'm going to let Judy go through the process here in a second too, I don't want to overlook that, as to how that'll exactly happen. But executive session is on the agenda only because I have not had a chance, none of us have had a chance to come together and discuss this. You do have the ability to go into an executive session to discuss the appointment of president and vice president, should you so choose. Under the Ohio Revised Code, of course, the vast majority of everything you discuss and deliberate has to happen in an open meeting. There are some delineated exceptions in the law. One of them is the appointment of a public official. So if council wanted to, again, it would take a vote of 3 of you to make this decision, but if council wanted to go into an executive session, someone could make a motion to convene executive session under that particular section of the revised code. I'm happy to provide it to you if you want it. And then we would take that vote, and you could go into an executive session to have the discussion about the appointment of president and vice president. Certainly don't have to. All of this can be done in an open meeting and discussed, discussed here as we are about to move forward to the next process on the agenda. Or you can, like I say, take that option and go into an exec session. It's pretty common practice for councils that do appoint president or VP from amongst themselves or mayor from amongst themselves. It's different in every community, to take the opportunity to go into that executive session. But it is completely up to you. I just wanted to be sure that everyone had the information. Do you want Judy to go through what the process will look like?
Sure. Thanks, Judy. Yeah, so you'll start with council president. There's as many nominations as anyone of you want to make. So let's say Angie says, well, I nominate Carmen for the president position. That needs a second. Okay, so noted. Anyone else? Someone else can nominate. So, and as soon as that process is done, I'll call the vote in the order of nomination. So if the first person nominated receives a majority vote, we are done. If they do not, we go in order through the next nominations. Obviously, you cannot change your vote as you move along through. If you voted yes or you voted no for some, one before you. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. And then once that's all taken care of, we do exactly the same thing for the vice president position. Once that's done and you have elected those 2 positions, the great chair shuffle occurs. You get in the positions, literally, with your nameplates in front of you, and off we go.
Okay, and literally all I'm saying is I will now take nominations for, or do you do that?
You can go ahead and do it. And then once we've got all the nominations, you can say, okay, we're ready to call the vote, and then I'll do that part.
And if you wanted to go into an exec session, you could do that first before taking the nominations.
Okay, well, I guess we start by checking, does anybody want to go into executive session or make a motion for that? I think that's the first question on the table, right? Is there a motion to do that?
Ring silence.
Okay. Hearing none, we move on, right? Okay. So now I'll take a nomination for council president.
I would like to nominate Gavin DeVore Leonard for council president.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is that Carmen?
Stephanie.
No, Stephanie, sorry. Ooh. guys have to get different voices. It's P.
Okay, and now I think I ask, are there any other nominations for president? Okay, so then call the roll.
Yes, so I'll
Okay.
go ahead and, so a nomination second have been made for Gavin as council president. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay,
All right, we got Gavin situated.
and then I'll take a nomination for vice president.
I'll nominate Carmen for vice president.
Is there a second?
Second.
Totally acceptable.
Okay, and then I'm gonna make a nomination for Angie for vice president.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Are there any other nominations for vice president? Okay, then you want to do the roll call?
Yes, so I am going to do this by roll call just because we've got two people. So in order of nomination, we start with Carmen. So I'll roll call you and you're voting for or against Carmen as vice president. So just give me a yes or a no, an aye or an A. All right, Sinai.
Angie Shu? Yes, is that what you said?
No, this is because Carmen was
sorry.
nominated first. This is for Carmen as vice president. So we go through that. If Carmen does not receive a majority vote, then we go to
My apologies.
Angie. So I'm just calling you as first in the roll call.
Nay.
Pierce.
Yes.
Shu. Brown.
Yes.
Or Leonard.
No.
All right, then that means we go to the next nominee. So this is for Angie Shu. Pierce.
No.
Samir.
Yes.
Brown.
No.
Shu.
Yes.
Or Leonard.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So we've got Gavin staying where you are. We've got Angie trading spots with Carmen, and that's the only shift.
All my junk.
The great reshuffling.
Right.
Should we do it in slow motion?
It's harder when there's
Ben
snacks
can do that. He can
involved.
Oh, you do it for us?
You grab my bag.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the next thing up, so just now go forth, right?
Carry on.
Okay. So are there any announcements? I know Johnny has at least one, because I saw the message about the trees, and my wife was asking me about the trees.
Okay, so we'll get it out early. January 12th through the 16th, Christmas trees, holiday trees will be picked up. The staff will drive around Monday through Friday, so as long as they're out between Monday and Friday, they will be picked up and disposed of.
There we go.
I have an announcement. There is an Ohio Progressive Governance Academy that's coming up at the end of January. It's meant to build the skills and leadership of progressive local elected officials in Ohio. So I just wanted to let everyone know I'm interested in attending, and my understanding is that 2 of us could attend. So it's on Friday, January 30th, and Saturday, January 31st, and I'm happy to share information later to whoever would like to learn more.
And it's pretty normal, I think, Judy, correct me if I'm wrong, but you could send it to Judy, and then if anybody needs anything, they could ask Judy, and then we're not all
Okay.
talking about it. Is that
Great.
Yes,
the way to go?
that's good, and then that way too, if I've got someone who says, I want more than anything in this life to go, then I can let folks know, hey, that we have a second person, so, yes.
Cool. Any other announcements? Okay.
And I flagged you on this one, Gavin, just if you make the motion to adopt for the minutes, then everyone can vote on it, as opposed to approve, then they would have needed to be on council at that point.
Okay, sorry, I didn't see the flag, so I'm just going to do what I think you just said, and if I mess it up, tell me. So we're moving on to the consent agenda, and, oh, I see, you wrote motion to adopt right on there. Okay, so do I ask for a motion to adopt? Okay.
Or
so
you
if
can
I-
make the motion to adopt.
So this is for the minutes of December 15th, 2025, regular meeting, and I'll take a motion to adopt those minutes.
Can we just pass it, or, oh, okay, so moved.
Second?
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. I don't totally understand how that was different from the regular, but we'll talk about it afterwards. I want to make sure I'm not doing it wrong going forward. Okay, the next thing is the review of the agenda. So this is the time where we look over the formal agenda that's been publicized to see if there's any changes or questions about the agenda. Hearing none, we'll keep moving. For petitions and communications, I think we have nothing, right?
Correct.
All right, there are no petitions or communications, so we'll move on to public hearings and legislation. Do we need to do the,
You can say, just read it in by title only because it's a resolution. If it were an ordinance, you,
so when there's ordinances, we can read them in by title only if we get a motion based on the charter to only read them by title only, but since there is resolutions, I'll just say, Judy, could you please read Resolution 2026-01 by title only?
This is authorizing the sale during calendar year 2026 of municipally owned personal property which is not needed for public use or which is obsolete or unfit for the use for which it was acquired by internet auction pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 721.15D.
Are you saying anything more about it, or is someone?
You want to go ahead and...
Sorry, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Second.
This is what we use to sell like cars that are no longer in use, things to be able to, we don't need. So this is the site that we use. So we actually currently, we have 3 retired staff cars and police cruisers that are no longer roadworthy to be listed as soon as we get this approved.
Are there any questions for Johnny? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay. And then, Judy, if you could read Resolution 2026-02 by title only, please?
This is approving grants to the 365 Project in support of Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Juneteenth activities.
Okay, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Okay. There's sort of a weird, like, you got to jump in every now and then just to keep things interesting. Okay. And so, Judy, is this one you? Or-
It can be. You
Okay.
folks approved the funds in the budget, but then you need to actually disperse them once we've received the formal request from the entity asking for those funds, which you had in your packet.
Can I ask a clarifying question for section 1, that it was a one-time grant of 1,000 XXX? Is that,
Oh, you are so good.
That was a
First catch of the year by Angie. Well done.
Fantastic.
Well done.
is that a test?
Section 2 is right.
It's not a
yeah.
test, but you passed anyway.
I need to check how much they actually asked, because you're right, it was,
Section 2 says 1,000.
It also
Well,
says
that's Juneteenth.
Yeah.
MLK is a different amount, which I think is,
Oh, that's June, that was Juneteenth.
Yeah, it does say 1,200 in the,
Yeah, both of the request forms in the packet are for Juneteenth.
are for Juneteenth.
Yeah.
I will look at it. If you say, well, one-time grant not to exceed 1,500, it is less than that amount, I'm sure, and then it will base it on the actual request made.
So we have MLK and Juneteenth.
Correct.
Okay.
Juneteenth is slated for 1,200, MLK is 1,000.
oh, so they're saying it might be 2,200 total now. You want to do 2,500 to be safe?
No, I think what she's saying, Gavin, if I can intervene here, we probably should get a motion to amend Section 1 to read that Village Council agrees to contribute a one-time grant of no more than $1,500 to the 365 project.
I got you.
For the Martin Luther King Day. And then one-time grant for, and here you're saying 1,200 is the request for Juneteenth?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
So we need to make a motion to amend Section 1.
So,
Section 1 and 2.
yeah. Do we need a motion to amend? Can we?
I would make a
Yeah.
motion to amend Section 1, vote on that, and then vote on the resolution.
Make a motion to amend Section 1.
Okay, my only question is just so, are we confident Section 2 is okay, even though it's 1,200 right below?
No, we should change that, but that'll be another motion.
Okay, we're
Yes.
going to do two motions. Okay, so then the first one, Section 1, all in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay. And now I'll make a motion on Section 2 to amend it to 1,200, right? Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, and then we have to vote on the whole thing, so now we're making, there's already a motion, right? At the beginning for the whole thing, or we have to make a new motion for the amended version?
You don't have to make a new motion, you just say, I'll call the vote on the amended,
Okay.
because
so
you approved both of your motions within that process.
All right, so calling the vote on the amended, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, success.
Success, thanks, you guys. That was a messy resolution. Nice job.
May that be our messiest resolution of the year. Okay. That's a joke. Okay. The next one is, well, I think that's all for public hearings and legislation. So now we are at citizen concerns. This is the portion of the meeting where you can spend 3 minutes on roughly anything that you want to. So welcome. Yeah, Mitzi, go ahead.
Hello, my name's Mitzi Miller. I'm a long-term Yellow Springs resident. I am going to ask for additional time because I have a reading disability, and I've let Judy know that, and I want that accommodation. As a long-term resident of Yellow Springs, I would like to start by welcoming the new council members. I know each of you have chosen to serve our community, and I'm grateful for your commitment to serve. As you come together as a new council, I hope you will evaluate how decisions are made and follow an open and consistent process. That new parameters are established for council and village government to abide by. I have observed a broken link in the process. There have been some important decisions that have not allowed for enough public input prior to decisions being made, both within council and within village government. While surveys have a place, they should not replace community dialogue. Meetings should be welcoming of various viewpoints. Often, the attempt to control the meetings make it seem as that the input is not welcomed. I ask each of you, as a I ask each of you to commit to transparency. This is not optional when it involves taxpayers' money. Our community deserves clarity, accountability, and open discussion. I suggest you commit to holding a few community events so that citizens can hear, ask questions, work for positive outcomes together. We don't need backroom deals that reduce trust in our council, village government, or community organizations. Our financial stability as a community and our infrastructure needs should be top priority. The projected deficit of 2026 requires conservative action. Spending needs to be closely monitored by council and the village government. I hope you will consider holding town hall meetings with the community to share and gather input and suggestions for larger community projects. I feel this council needs to commit to more transparency and work to rebuild trust with our community. Please take the time to evaluate our budget, our ordinances, policies, including our salary going out before agreeing to spending tax dollars. I know each of you have areas of interest and have a vision of how you want to see this community develop. Some of these things take significant financial investments, and I ask you to evaluate carefully before allocating taxpayers' funds. Please understand that living here has gotten very expensive, and many people feel that they can't afford more in the way of taxes or increases in utilities. It's imperative that we live within our means. Your role as a council member is a big responsibility, and these are difficult times for everybody. Please remember, your constituents are the citizens who elected you to represent them as a whole and not just to advance special interests. I want to reiterate the need to set up platforms for community and business conversations so we can develop successful solutions together. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to share my personal thoughts. Thank you.
Thanks, Mitzi.
Thank you, Mitzi.
Other citizen comments? Yeah.
Thank you for verbalizing exactly what many of my friends and family feel as well. My name is Pan Reich. I'm also I've been here 33 years, longtime paramedic volunteer for our fire department, and for Glen Helen, still volunteering. Might go back to that. So I'd like to make one statement and two requests. One statement is my wife and I are both incredibly excited about all five of you now leading our village, and we wanted to thank you so much for the service that you're about to provide for us in the next year. We're all very excited about the potentials that you can improve for our village. My first request is, over a year ago when Short Street was closed, council gave us your word that in the fall, after the second street fair, that it would be reopened. And the discussion would go on about what's going to happen with it at that point. So two of you kept your word, and you voted to reopen it this past fall. Yet Brian and Kevin voted to keep. They reneged on the word that our community was given and decided to close it. So you know what? December, January, February, March, that's a dead space. It is not being used by a single soul. And even during the summer, very few people used it. And in December, those 15 parking places really hurt our stores downtown for the tens of thousands of shoppers that came here. And so many people now are parking in Tom's parking lot and using that as a thoroughfare, which makes it dangerous for the pedestrians trying to walk there. No one is going to use that, no one, at least till after March. Please, please, please consider reopening Short Street so we can use it again rather than have it be a dead space for the next 4 months. Okay, and then my second request is about 10, 11 months ago, we made a request to the council to use the village's public information system to let the villagers know if ICE should come to our village and potentially kidnap some villagers as well as potentially Antioch students. And one of the village council, we didn't hear anything from the request. One of the village council members who's no longer on the council informed me that there was a discussion between the village manager and the police chief, but the reasoning for them deciding not to let us know the decision was kept secret. And what she was talking about being transparent, that really needed to let us know what the decision was. So now we have the YS Connect. There is an organization of people next Sunday actually training people here. I'm going to be going to what we can do if ICE comes to the community. And to be peaceful, they're going to provide whistles and we'll be videotaping. The more people who show up to videotape, if they come here, the more likely they're going to leave. And we have to have a way to inform the villagers who are interested in coming to be peaceful protesters. So I'm making a second request to please consider using YS Connect to let the village know if ICE shows up, so the rest of us can show up. There's no legal that I'm aware of prohibit to do that. And if you decide that you don't want to to help us out, to keep us safe, to keep the people that are brown-skinned here, immigrants, to help keep them safe, then we at least deserve for you to be transparent and let us know the reasoning for your decision. Thank
And
you
that's
so
your
much.
time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Others? Okay. Seeing no other citizen concerns, we're going to move on to special reports. I don't think we have any special reports, so we're going to move on from special reports to the manager's report.
All right, it's me. So we had the staff holiday party on December 17th. You'll see Linda won for the ugliest sweater. Paige finished probably second. But then Brad Alt won the cookie baking contest, and second year in a row, I won trivia again, just so everybody knows. Second year in a row. There was no
It's gonna be a
cheating.
long year.
There was
a
no
long
cheating,
year.
but I did win the second year in a row. With a totally different team, by the way, just saying. I had meter readers Rose Pelzel and Travis Hoteling, and our custodian Les Groby. And yes, we won the second year in a row, by the way. I didn't know if y'all knew that or not, but I just put it out there.
Second year.
So,
Were there any council members who could make it? So that's the reason why. Okay.
Brian was there, and he
Okay.
represented you all.
I don't know.
Okay.
Brian represented you guys very well.
Rose and Travis are brilliant minds. So.
And Les has been here forever,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But yes,
I think that should be the photo of the cover of the manager.
that's
report.
what
Like,
I tried.
Why is it
I
us? That
tried.
should be it.
I tried, but I got voted down. Very sadly mistaken. It wasn't even actually listed. I had to actually personally put that in there because some people are salty. That'd be all the people that finished after me. So, town hall for January 14th for Tom's Market. I see that is in there. It is at the Presbyterian Church, Westminster Hall, 6 to 7 p.m. And the Community Foundation is putting it on, correct? Correct. I want to point out on the calls for PD, where you see non-emergency calls, 1,271 of them. The power outage that we had was 730 calls to that non-emergency line in 2 hours. So that shows you how many people was trying to flood, and it is very hard to answer that with one person. So be very patient and watch out for the YS Connect app as well. Food vouchers, we handed out 44. Total people served was 163. Aaron did attend the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission Safe Streets for All on December 18th, and he come back with some information for us. We are bringing back the grant request next on the 20th for Safe Routes to School grant to be approved by council to be able to submit for the grant funding in February. That will be coming to you next council meeting. Utility department, that's another announcement for today. Due to some auditing that we did with the internal employees, we had an employee leave and took a job somewhere else, and we had another one that actually moved over to full-time dispatcher. We did some audit evaluations, and so we have changed some hours in the utility window, and we've moved Rose Pelzel is now helping out. She's sharing her time between meter reading and utilities. So we seem to be on the right track, and we're going to reevaluate that in March. So we'll give you an update on how that's going. So you will see the new office hours are from 10 to 3:30, Monday through Friday. Payment dates and disconnect dates, 8 a.m. to 4:30. But take a note, if you want to drop it by, utility department has a box right there next to it, or you can drop it out by the American flag. There's a box drop off there as well. Brad received the water bottles for our water to go to Washington DC for the national competition. Stephanie, I don't know if you know, but we've won that 3 times now.
I've heard a little bit about that, yes.
So we're waiting on December's water loss average. We're not going to have a good December because of the water main break that happened at Tolly. If you guys drove by there, that was actually, Ben called me and said, "You ain't gonna believe this. It's actually shooting out of the ground 5 foot." And I'm like, "No way." He FaceTimed me, sure enough it was. So the crew got in here and got it fixed, and I appreciate all of them. You had anywhere from electric department to meter readers to water guys coming in and taking care of that. So they jumped in there and got it all taken care of for us. And I think that's about it. I do want to make note that the YS Connect app, it must have been due to the power outage, it received 136 downloads that night. So we're up to 1,744 people that's on that app. So that is what I have.
Any questions?
Thanks,
Okay.
Johnny.
Thanks, Travis. All right, looks like nothing under old business, which makes sense because we're brand new. And so I'll move on to new business. And the first thing up is the temporary appointment of council representatives to YSDC. Does somebody want to give context on it? I mean,
That will be a meeting. The meeting is tomorrow from 4:30 to 6. That is when they're bringing back the vote for the final of the sale of the hardware stores. We do need to have a couple of council members there so we can have a full share of the vote.
Okay. So basically, we're just trying to figure out, are there 2 of us that could go tomorrow? Temporary YSDC seat, and then when we do all the commissions, everything, we'll figure out who's doing it long-term?
I served on YSDC my first year, and I'd be interested in serving again, at least temporarily, because of the involvement that I had before, and with what's been happening with the sale of the hardware store.
Okay. Should we just do like kind of are there other people that are interested?
Certainly, I believe my background in this field, as well as kind of my stance in terms of wanting to bring some of that transparency, understand what's going on with YSDC, bring that to the public as well. I'd be more than interested in being that committee representative as well.
That's 2. If nobody else raises their hand, then I feel like we have a relatively easy, if y'all are both, and you both know what time it is and everything, and you're available to go.
4:30 to 6, It's located at the firehouse.
Okay.
That's what, first Tuesdays?
It is the first Tuesday of every month.
So do we need to make a motion or something?
I mean, both people seem pretty interested in hanging on to the position, so let's just, I'd say get it done, yes, let's do the votes. We don't have to come back to this.
Let's do it.
No, but you're saying for the long term? Okay. Are you both saying that you want to do it, just to be clear, you're both saying you want to do it long term and there's no one else who wants to do it long term? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'll speak for myself on that one. I'm interested in doing it long-term.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And we're all, I'm good with that. It sounds like nobody else is. Okay. So then, sure. Okay.
Okay, you can, and, I mean, it's kind of a friendly vote right there, but it's quite clear what your intentions are.
Cool.
No worries.
Okay. So we don't need to do the official thing, or we're okay?
We just did.
We just did.
Take a motion in a second.
Okay. A motion for Carmen and Sinai to be the representatives for YSTC.
Second.
Okay. Discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The next thing up is the appointment of representative to the MVRPC, the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission, right? Is that the right C? Does somebody want to say anything about this? We're trying to get somebody situated because there's a meeting yet this month, right?
There is none in January.
Oh, that's when Brian
It's
said there
February.
wasn't any.
Correct.
Right, okay.
Same way with Greene
So-
County.
Is it, the only reason I'm wondering about doing them all at once is just so we're all clear on all of our commitments, but is there a reason that we should do it today?
They like to know sooner rather than later, because they'll start sending things immediately, just to kind of get you up to speed and what's going on, and, oh, hey, here are the committees you could be on or not be on, and, I mean, information starts coming pretty immediately for both of those entities.
Okay. Well, is there anybody who wants to be on, I don't know if this is the right way to approach it, but is there somebody who wants to do it? We'll start there, I guess. How many people are interested?
I'll go ahead and throw my name in the hat. I'm very interested in how Yellow Springs kind of interfaces with the rest of the Miami Valley. And so I would like to be a part of that moving forward.
Okay, and you do know you can't be on all the committees, right? Okay. Okay, I'm just making sure. Okay. Is anybody else interested in that one?
I am.
Okay. And is it, we have one, or are there?
You have a primary and a
And a
secondary.
liaison and a secondary, yeah.
Okay.
And it is the executive committee and board of directors so it's literally once a month.
Okay.
First Thursday of every month, and it's normally during the day.
And so is this one of the ones where the alternate only goes when the other person can't, or is this one of the ones where both people go?
They don't both have to go, but
They can?
they can if they want to.
Okay. I don't know how to do this exactly, but is one of you either only interested as the primary or happy to be the secondary, or is there some way to make this easy?
I'm happy to be the secondary.
Okay. Is that
More
cool with
than-
you, Sinai, the primary and then secondary?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
The way that they did it last time is Brian was primary on Miami Valley, and Kevin was secondary, and then Kevin was primary on Greene County, and Brian was secondary. So they hit both
Well,
of them at one time.
should we talk about that one for a second? So we'll come back to MVRPC, let's just address that idea. Are both of you interested in Greene County Regional Planning Commission also, or is anyone else interested in those besides?
I'm interested in Greene County because of the relationships that I built with the county.
Okay.
I think that would be a good move.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna keep looking at you, and just speak up if you're, so I'm hearing, what do you think about being the secondary? Do we like this, like, Sinai, you'd be the primary on MVRPC, Carmen, you'd be the primary on GCRPC, and then vice versa?
I think it works out very well. My longstanding relationships with Montgomery County and the Miami Valley region, I think bodes well to being the primary in that one, and then her relationships with Greene County bode well for her being the primary. So I have no problem being a secondary unless someone else wants it. But I'm more than happy.
Okay, well then I'll make a motion that we do that.
Second.
All right. I assume we just had the discussion, so all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
So,
Sinai, primary, oh,
but let's, so
You want me
I'm
to go down
assuming, well, I was assuming that was the
Okay.
vote for Greene County Regional Planning. Because they asked what,
Okay.
that you took a vote for, they're very
Okay.
particular.
I'm going to make a motion for MVRPC that Sinai is the primary and Carmen is the secondary. Can I do that in one?
You can?
Okay. I get a second? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, and then I'll make a motion that Greene County is Carmen primary, Sinai secondary. Second? Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right.
Great.
The next thing up here is the draft council retreat agenda. So I had some notes in my memo, and Judy sent out some information in the packet as well as like a draft. I think the main thing would be to just kind of get like, are there things that you're not hearing in the discussion that you want to be talked about at the retreat? Or are there things where you're like, I really hope we spend a lot of time on X? Because then we would come back, we would send out a draft agenda just like we do for the meetings that people could give feedback on. This would just be the first time to weigh in before we would send a draft of the agenda. Is that, anybody
Yes.
have thoughts that they want to share?
So, just looking over the memo, I was able to kind of make it short for my ADD, non-hyperactivity brain, but I had to shorten it up. Some of the high-level stuff is good, but something that I think that it's going to be really important for us to dive into is Robert's rules. They exist for a reason. They maintain decorum in public meetings, and they ensure against implicit bias because everybody gets equal time. So I really want to look at those. I'm interested in maybe talking to a parliamentarian if anybody knows any. I know some junior flips, but not anybody big. And then also, we need to really look at the stop, start, and continue list. That seems to like it moves into the day-to-day, and I don't know if that's in council's purview, but we can talk about it. And then kind of the hierarchical structure of, of how this works, the chain of command, which I don't like to use that term, but really pinning down and shoring up that, that structure so that nobody is confused about what someone else is to be or not to be doing, especially with regards to council and staff. Those are the things that stuck out the most to me. I mean, then obviously affordable housing and the other things that we always, that are important to all of us all the time.
Carmen, can I just make sure I understand what I wrote down as structure piece, the last thing before the like affordable housing and stuff? So you're just, am I understanding correctly that you're basically saying like, make sure it's clear what is a staff purview, like a staff decision versus what is a thing that council would give input on? If council gives input, who and when is their input? Is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
So it's, it's not quite that in the weeds. It's
Okay.
just exactly how it works. It's from electors to council, from council to staff, and how those roles interrelate and how they absolutely do not interrelate.
Got it. Okay. So kind of a high level, here's the flow of.
Right.
Okay, I got it. Other folks?
Just had a clarifying question, that the stop, start, continue list that was on Judy's retreat agenda draft, is that directly related to your leftover issues list, or not necessarily? There are other issues
other topics that are on the Stop Start Continue?
I can, as the creator of the Stop Start Continue. So when Josue gave his resignation, staff, myself, Chief Burge, Amy Kemper, and Meg Leatherman, we needed to figure out how we're going to keep moving forward with not having Josue at the moment. So we all listed every one of the projects we had, so we knew what we had to stop, what we had to start, what had needed to continue. And so that list is, we've been working on that list, and when we get them marked off, we just, they're finished or completed. And we've added some to that list, but we got to prioritize some other things.
And that has more to do with the day-to-day. That's less to do with council and more in Johnny's purview.
Okay.
Correct. It's just an update of things that we got going on. So when we say we're extremely busy, you know, we have that list, because if we have things we're doing and we keep on pushing it aside to get to other emergencies or somebody brings something up, we need to be able to let you guys know what's going on.
And I think Judy and I talked about this, but I think the reason we were thinking about it was because essentially it's like so that we're aware. If we say, hey, can you do this thing that takes a bunch of time, that you're aware of, here's all the things that are already happening. So it's kind of like context for knowing how much we can take on. I'm just gonna go down the line. Stephanie, anything else that's like jumping out at you that you're really hoping we talk about that you didn't see, or anything that you're seeing from any of the memos that you're saying, hey, I know, you know, I think we should spend more time on that, or does it feel like it's generally on the right track?
I think so, yeah.
Cool. So now what about you?
At first glance, over this weekend, it looks well. I think, you know, as I see this, is simply the first of many, right, in terms of ironing out where we're going from a direction point of view, as more of our priorities. So dwindling, starting kind of wide and filtering in is good. So as of right now, I think we're good. To be determined after that, that first session, though.
Angie, anything else to add?
That's good.
Okay. Johnny, Judy, anything else to add?
No, I think we can talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it in agenda planning, and I sent out a thing to a couple folks just to say, hey, how about these kinds of documents, at least at first glance. And so Carmen, I've added a couple based on your comments, and so we'll circulate that around, and then when it sweeps by you, if you think, oh, but wait, I need to see this, that, or something else just in front of me for that retreat, I'll make sure you get it.
I think the biggest thing that I got out of the 8-page memo was the last paragraph when you said, working and keeping the personnel or personal, family, and professional, and making sure that we have time to do family matters and not always working. So that was the best paragraph for me.
Cool. Let's do it. Let's work on finding a better balance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Balance is all great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think it sounds like we've got input. Agenda planning crew will work on finishing taking all this and molding it into an agenda, and we'll send around, and folks can give any input to Judy to finish it up before we make it a plan. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is scheduling of regular work sessions. I think the main thing was just checking in to make sure that the idea of having a work session before the meeting, the next meeting.
The second meeting.
So like an hour before the next meeting, to check in about sort of initial thoughts on Short Street stuff, because that's coming for like a full discussion on the 2nd. And then there's several other things that we could conceivably start talking about, but the main thing would be, what do we think about the idea of having some more work sessions and creating some space to talk about things a little more in depth, and what might that look like, and what do you want to see and not want to see? So I think tonight the question on the table is just, are you game to do a work session at 5 before the next meeting? I'm seeing nods, so I guess if anybody has any objections to that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, work sessions are still open for the public?
Yep.
Okay.
The difference is that with work session, council or citizen comment is not taken, and so that it's really you folks just focusing. Generally, you're moving into a regular meeting where, that can occur, so it's not much of an issue, but that is one difference.
Yeah. And then obviously, if we want to take public comment on a question, then we could figure it out. But I think this one's just sort of saying, let's talk about what we might talk about. How might we do this? I think Johnny, he was at a manager's conference and they were saying a regular work session, maybe
Yep.
with some food, maybe?
Maybe.
Was like a good team building kind of.
It's called breaking bread.
Breaking bread, yeah. So anyway, so it sounds like we'll start with the work session before the next one, and then we'll talk about how frequently to do it and how to do it going forward. Okay. I think that's it for the.
I need to back up. I forgot. I had Ben go out this morning. I wanted to give you an update on Gaunt Park. This is what it looks like without snow. That is rutted. That is.
It is, yes, it
about
is.
$1,000 to $1,500 is the estimate. So if you still know of anybody that helped do that damage, let me know. It is not going to be easy to fix. There's going to be a lot of time with the roller, seed, and trying to get it ready for the fields to be used. So.
Would this be appropriate if somebody is like a big baseball, softball user and wants to help solve the problem, call us up.
Yep.
Help pitch in. That would be cool too. This is actually, it's a bummer, but it could be a great opportunity to have extra awesome fields
Right.
when the work is done.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you made a great pun and no one noticed.
I didn't even know it.
Pitch in.
I didn't even notice. Okay, thank you. All right. It was a dad joke. That's how far in I am. Okay. Okay, so future agenda items. There's obviously a bunch of stuff on here. The one other one, Johnny, I think I caught was you mentioned safe routes to school. Is that on here?
It's coming June 20th or January 20th. Where do we have that one? That's the one I
That's the
emailed you.
legislation?
Yes.
Okay.
And can you just say, sorry, so what will it be? It'll be,
It will be for allowing us to apply for a grant for safe routes to school for 4 different projects
okay.
Is
in the
it an
village.
ordinance, Johnny?
It is a ordinance yet. No, it is a resolution, just to allow us to apply.
I don't know that you need that calendar of legislation/regular events here because you've got it on the retreat agenda, but we can do it if you want it.
Is that one of the things that we talked about? Is that you talking about the thing where I was suggesting putting having a, that's fine, the retreat's fine, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll kind of come back to this at the retreat and then when we go over rules and everything, but this would be just a good time to say, hey, here's something I want to talk about in the future. And then in general, we want 3 people to say, yep, so if you say something and then if anybody has any questions about it or there's any reason that it's like, I can't imagine anybody has a problem with a grant going in, assuming we don't have some massive match or, whatever, on the safe routes to school. So we just kind of generally assume that's going to go on the agenda when staff has something that feels pretty routine. But if anybody here wants to put anything in general, we should decide here, because this is the time to discuss whether we want to put something on the agenda or not. So this will be a sort of a good working list for now, and then we'll get it tighter as we get in the flow of working together.
So the next thing that will happen is agenda planning will meet, tighten up the agenda, get it put together in a fairly coherent draft, which then will go out to all of you. And that's when you email or call or whatever, if you've got questions, something seems like, wait, we didn't talk about that. Get in touch as soon as you can about it, and we keep it working.
Okay, well, in one of the great pleasures of finishing a meeting an hour early, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, first one's in the books.
Aye.
We want to slow your process, so I need to print legislation for you. I didn't have I want to
Okay.
make sure you were president.
Yeah.